this first episode because I have actually been going through some pretty big transformations. And not only that, I have been learning how to, just allow the downloads and knowledge and intuitive stuff that I'm receiving to kind of like be integrated into my mind, my body, my spirit, all of those subtle bodies, because that is how I will best use this information to be able to share with you guys. In the past, I've realized that on our channel with our family, I would get these downloads and I'd be so ready to share it with you guys. Because I'm just such an anxious person, I'll be ready to just work and do and share, and right? So I've learned how to just be more intentional and slow down with these things, so that I can better get a better grasp of the message so that I can, deliver it more effectively. That's something I'm working on. So, with no more wait, let's just get into the message that has been on my mind's eye to share in the past couple weeks. I named this "Who to Answer To" because um, I asked a question to someone in my life about a year ago, because it was sometimes I just get these things that just like kind of hit my spirit, and then I have to like let it, these downloads, right? That you get hit with, and you have to kind of like ask yourself these questions that lead you to these conclusions and things, right? So I asked this person. I said, I was like, so I was trying to figure out if I wanted to continue having this person be a part of my life, because sometimes in tarot we get those messages where it's like, this this partnership or whatever, what have you, is affected by, say for instance, your spiritual upbringing or your spiritual beliefs, right? So with this person, I had reason to believe that we were on two different ends of the spectrum when it came to our spiritual beliefs. And I'm a person where it's like I've learned how to like look at, to use logic in my relationships, because I mean I'm a very feminine being. I'm a woman, so I've definitely had to like cultivate and like work on my having like a really crispy logical mind or whatever. So basically, I learned, or I realized that compatibility is just important for anything that you're doing. It just doesn't, simply doesn't make sense for you to put energy and work into anything that isn't prepared to receive or to like produce anything, basically something that's compatible, or you know it's like I always, I'm a Virgo, y'all know how I always tie it back to nature. It's like, why would I continue to try to labor over soil and grow plants and things and crops from soil that isn't able to nurture life? You know what I'm saying? If it's not fertile, it's that kind of example. It just doesn't make sense. So with that being said, I asked this person if, basically in order to get to the information, I just pretty much was like, yo, what is your source? What source do you go to in life? Like, what is it that you go to in life when you need to feel like fulfilled and like full? And the problem I was having with this person is that they were draining me so much, and I had reason to believe that that was their main intention of being in my life, and I was correct. But this is when I was still in the discovery, like seeking mode of that information. So I was like, yeah. So what is that source that you go to for strength, for happiness, for support, for love, things like that, right? Energy to keep going, however you want to look at it. And they just simply danced around the idea, like the question, so much, and basically landed on the conclusion that, like, okay, I go to myself. Like, that's what their answer was. And the issue that has for me personally, right? Because I can't speak for everybody, I can't speak for the world. Okay, that's not what spirituality is. That's not what being your highest self is. Self is your main priority, right? So I have to start with self. And The thing about it is, my phone literally like won't even hold a charge at this point. Like it's just kind of falling apart, honestly, and I have to kind of work a little extra hard to get replacements and stuff. Cause hey, y'all, I'm prosperous, I'm abundant, but like these things take a little bit of time, so bear with me. But yeah, let's try to get back into the message and make it short and not interrupt the channel. Okay, bear with me, y'all. But yeah, so I recognize with this person's answer being okay, I go to myself, they couldn't elaborate. I'm a person who really needs to like understand. I have to seek understanding. And if a person loves me, I believe that they will want me to understand. So they will have this conversation with me until I feel like I understand what I'm asking. But this person became very defensive, which was like a red flag because why are you defensive about, where you go to for a source of like love and strength and stuff? That it shouldn't be, a hard question to answer, right? And if it's a triggering question, then, that's important for me to note because if, when you involve with people, understanding them is pretty important and understanding if you're compatible is important, right? But the point of this entire thing is that the reason I needed to know this information is because I wanted to know whether to have this person in my life, right? And I know I'm not a person who says everyone around me has to have the same beliefs, but I am the kind of person, however, and this is just me, okay? But I feel like anyone who's very close to me in my life, I would love if we have similar values, or just even if we don't, we are able to respect and coexist with each other's values being in place. You know what I'm saying? So basically, I came to the conclusion, long story short, that this person didn't have a source of like their source of energy that they would get and like love and like energy to go on and blah blah, blah was solely through people, and that's just how they choose to live their life, like kind of steal energy from others, and that's why I decided to like let them go out of my life. And the reason the topic is who you answer to is because when people discuss topics such as unaliving themselves or ending their own lives, a lot of people, a lot of spiritual people will have their different opinions on it, and it could be very problematic. This topic also was nurtured by me watching watching The Deep End with Till Swan. And the thing that is so insidious that could come up in the spiritual community is the ego and the shadow aspect that kind of rule us when we don't check it, right? And that's giving, you got all these people looking up to you. It's very irresponsible to just tell them, like, if you want to, end your life yourself or unalive yourself, however you want to look at that. This is YouTube guidelines, right? You should do it, or that you will go into another life. Like whether you feel like you know the answer, or you've done research, or you've went to these higher spaces and got this information, that's still highly irresponsible. So I felt that it was important to facilitate a discussion where I kind of let people know that, like, my view on these topics, because people that look up to you and in your community, they want you to know what you think, so that they can have a perspective, right? Perspective is so important in the community. And I personally look at these things in this way, right? Who we answer to. So at the end of the day, we are given our life to fulfill a growth process. If we cut that growth process short, that is, I'm not going to sit here and say it's good or bad, but I will say that I don't find it to be something that should be glorified ever, because it is a thing that is not exactly, how can I put this? I really did go over this thought so much in my head, but now that I'm saying it, I just want to make sure I'm being as delicate as possible, but also very blunt and just real about my view. But I view ending your own life as sort of a cop out. I feel like there's lots of layers to it. I can't speak on everybody's view, but when I've had these thoughts myself, it was always very personal for me. I always just kind of felt like this is my choice. It's my life, if I am, no longer feeling like I can keep up with it or handle it, then it should be up to me. I know others have different thoughts where they want to make people mad or they want people to miss them. They want to cause, some type of hurt. There's so many reasons, but at the end of the day, it just isn't something that should be uh, glorified because what what do we learn from quitting a process that was designed a certain way to our highest benefit? You know, everyone believes in different things. Some people want to live and they go after life energy. Some people feel the opposite way, and there is no good or bad in that. And the sooner we can recognize that, the sooner we can have healthier conversations, I think. These are hard conversations to have, but they're important. Us, the humans, are really developing very quickly spiritually, and we're just trying to understand our places in it. And, you know, people who choose the opposite of life, they may look like people who are on drugs or very depressed or living their lives kind of more tucked away, stowed away, or very angry, cynical, pessimistic, nihilists, even. And they have the right to feel that way because everybody's soul is honestly just here for a different reason. And that is just the truth in the fact. We're not all here for the same reason. Everybody has their own soul mission, literally. Literally. Some people are here to free their souls from dark shackles and dark realms that they were in, that they were caught in, that they put themselves in. They came here to redeem themselves. Some people came here because they've been living so long and maybe they're tired of of infinite living because life energy never dies, right? All souls have a cycle. Everything has a rise and fall. That's what we're taught in nature. I personally choose to subscribe to nature. Nature is who I answer to. If people ask me who God is for me, I call God many things. But God is one thing truly for me. But God is also, I can't really sum it up into words. It is a thing. It is everything. To me, God is all the little jobs and niches in nature that makes things happen. It's the seasons and just nature itself. It's the most purest embodiment of God for me as a living human. If this video ends, by the way, abruptly, my apologies. It will have to end there. Like I said, I have problems with my device. But yeah, so that's pretty much the gist, the point. I didn't even open up my notes for this. I just went into a pure channel. But I've been planning this for the past couple weeks, so I'm pretty confident in how the message came out. But just to reiterate, we all have different soul missions, and whether we want to say it's dark or light, evil or good, in reality, there's this huge design that is both, structured and chaotic, and it all has a purpose and a point, and it's all perfect. And no matter what we think is winning, good or bad, at the end of the day, it's been pretty evident that a very, dark, sinister, kind of heavy energy has had the earth in shackles for centuries. And one thing that we can note about history is that it tends to be cyclical. So if all this time we've been struggling with all this darkness, you know, nature is only balancing itself out. So I just challenge everyone to really pay attention to the world around them and disconnect from things that they are being like forced to view, and try to view more things that you are choosing to view yourself so that you can get a real feel for what's happening around you and get a real perspective to decide. So many people, whether we like it or not, are deciding whether they want to live or die at this time. Um, and, you know, it all comes down to, and like I said, it'll look different for everybody. Some people will go fast and unalive themselves in their lives. Some people will go slow. Some people will live fast. Some people will plan a slow, a fast and exciting life where they live it to the fullest. And that's that life energy that they feel. And some people will plan a slow, enjoyable, meditated life. And there's all these different elements. Everyone's choosing their sides. It all comes down to who we answer to. And so many people don't answer to anything or believe in anything. And that's a natural evolution of human thought and human philosophy. You're supposed to question things. So that's how we're supposed to be a student. That's why we're here. So I have to take a second to breathe. My heart chakra was like really, it's like so open right now. I feel so blissful delivering this message. Um, what was I saying? Spirit help me. And this will be intimate listening, of course, because I didn't want to, overload the technology with my phone already having so many issues. Uh, so I trust that everyone that will listen to this message will be here and present and receptive and listening to the best of their abilities, considering, all the obstacles that I've had to kind of overcome to get you guys this message. But I think the last thing that I was touching on is just the fact that everyone's choosing, you know, how they want to live their life and if they want to. And this is a very real and very important space for us because we have to just look at it with, you know, clear vision. We just have to, because there's too many like tricks and illusions that are confusing people who just want to understand. Um, like I said, it's natural for people to question their creator. It's natural for people to question things. That's why we're here. So don't let it discourage you that so many people may be having a hard time having faith or believing in something at least. Because even if you get your energy from food or family or, whatever it is for you, flowers, I don't know, you know, it, it has a purpose. It has a perfect design in the grand design and it's going just as it should. You have to, it's just best to have faith. Or even if you don't, that's fine too. It all just is. So I think that was all that I needed to share. So I hope that it's received well. I have faith that it will be received well. Um, I'm just trying to make sure I have no final remarks, y'all. I'm just trying to be so thorough with this because once I get something out, I don't really plan to ever like revisit it because I believe that, you know, I believe that it comes out as it should when it should. So I'm just gonna leave it here, y'all. Um, you know, if you listening to this and you don't understand, give it a little time. Something will trigger something, and it'll make a lot of sense. But all in all, believe in nature. Nature is the balancing factor always, and there is no good and bad. Peace. See y'all in the next one.